Żeby nie być gołosłownym, zaczynamy od rozmowy z Fredericiem Vassauerem. To jest, drodzy Państwo, legenda Formuły 1. Od ponad 30 lat pracuje w motosportach, w różnych oczywiście. Do Formuły 1, jak każdy w tym sporcie, dochodzi, bo to jest taki szczyt, taki top, takie premium, można powiedzieć. Jest z wykształcenia inżynierem, więc mógłby nam godzinami opowiadać o silnikach, o hamulcach, systemu zawieszenia. Hello, Frederic. Natomiast ma też bardzo dużą wiedzę o biznesie, bowiem od 2016 roku jest szefem zespołu. Najpierw krótko był szefem zespołu Renault, a wkrótce potem został szefem zespołu Sauber, który dziś startuje pod marką Alfa Romeo F1 ORLEN Team. Hello Frederic, thank you for joining us. It's a shame that you couldn't come to Poznań, but COVID is still like destroying our plans.
Still on.
How are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm okay. But just that I can't fly, and it's a shame because I would have loved to be with you today. But let's do it virtually.
Okay. So Frederic, tell us: do you think sport is a good marketing platform, and if so, why? And does motorsport somehow stand out from other sports?
Yeah, for sure. I can't be against that. For sure, that the sport is for me a very strong platform on the marketing side. That it's even, I think, more and more true over the years that the fan base is growing up drastically over the last years, and I think it's true for every single sport. On our sport, that we have more and more young people. We have also more and more female, and this is changing completely the profile of the fan, and it's going in the right direction. And the other thing I think on the marketing side is that you have a level of engagement in the sport that you can't have in other marketing support. And this is for us a real asset.
So could you tell us something about how you, as your team, build the value for the partners? Because Formula One is like a global sport, so for sure.
Yeah, the advantage of the F1 compared to some other sport or to some other platform is that we are global. That we have 25 races over the world. That we have I think 64 nationalities for the broadcast. That it means that we are covering a large part of the world. And on the top of this, the profile of the fans is getting wider and wider. That it means that this is, I think, for the marketing aspect is very important for us to cover all the population and not just as it was 25 years ago with the male of 40 years old or something like this. In Miami last week that we had a race was a mega great event, the biggest event in US and of the year, and the profile of the fan was very, very wide. And I think for us it's a real success.
Could you tell us something about the pyramid of these partners? Because from my perspective, it's obvious that the title partner gets the biggest value, of course, because the name is in the name. But I was wondering, because you have so many partners, like 30 partners or more even in your team. So what do you give these smaller partners?
Yeah, but for sure that on our side, and if I have to speak about us, that we have the Alfa Romeo F1 Team ORLEN. That it means that for these two brands that we have a mega exposure into the name of the team, and it's probably different on some other sport that on the football that you have the Paris Saint-Germain. It's not a brand, but in our case that we have a Alfa Romeo ORLEN, that it's two brands as a team name, and this is a mega exposure. Now for the other sponsor, I think that we have something like, and you are right, 30 partners, more than sponsors. We can do a tailor-made proposal to every single partner because they have all different core business, all different approach. Some are on the B2B, some are on the B2C. And we can really fine-tune the proposal and to have something fitting with their expectation. We have a good team, very reactive. If you have a look on the past seasons, was on the marketing side was I think like all the other business was quite tough with the COVID, and even today with the COVID it's not easy. But at least for us on track, it was not an easy one. But the partnership with ORLEN is a good example because we were able to react, to adapt our product to the situation. We went much more on the digital side, and I think that it's an important step that for us that it's the best way also to attract the young people and the young generation.
How the Formula One built such a huge popularity around the world? Because you just came back from Miami, and it was very different race than any others. I'm talking about the marketing, the spectators and stuff.
Yeah, that was an incredible event. It was the biggest event of the year in US. That it means that we are overshooting all the expectation. And it's true that over the last, I would say after COVID, post-COVID, was almost like this everywhere. We are sold out on all the races this season. The change probably is also due to the expectation post-COVID, perhaps that we went much more on the digital side and we attract new generation. And at the same stage, we had Netflix joining the championship with a new series. And this was the best way for us to attract to our sport a new generation. It was not fun before. They went to do sport through Netflix and through the series Drive to Survive. And now they are watching the race, they are coming to the track. And this was probably a game changer. But it's not only this. I think the F1 made big effort in terms of ecological aspect on every single topic. You know that we were the first one to introduce the hybrid system, the hybrid engine on motorsport a couple of years ago, was more than 10 years ago. And perhaps that we were a bit too shy on this. We didn't communicate so far, but now that we are pushing a little bit on the communication of this side, that the car manufacturer, they invested a fortune to develop this technology. And from 2022, we introduce renewable fuel, and we'll have 100% of renewable fuel by 2025. We are really going into this direction, and we have to communicate this. And this is also the best way to attract new fans. They could be a bit scared about the CO2 emission in the past. And I think that we are doing big effort with all the stakeholders to go into this direction, and it will be profitable.
Let's talk about this ecological topic for a while, because Formula One is like a kind of controversial sport when you talk about this all, growing environmental issues. People are talking about being green. So, is it the end of the F1 as we know?
No, it's the start. No. It's not. It's a bad perception, because as I said before, that all the car manufacturers involved in F1, they spend billions to develop new technologies for the F1. The hybrid technology were developed for the F1, and it was a huge step forward for the industry. Now we are working on the biofuel, that it's a step, and it will be a mega step for us by 2025. And we don't have to be shy of this, that that F1 is a race based on efficiency. It means that we have a quantity of fuel and we have to do the best with this. And I think this is going in the direction of the world. I think that this is a very important message for us in terms of marketing, and it's also the success of the last season, is that 5 years ago we were very shy about the communication, and we did the step. We have to be proud of what we are doing.
From this season, there's a budget cap for all the teams. The expenses are not so big that before the pandemic. Do you think it's a good idea, or how has it changed the Formula One?
Well, it's a change of mentality first, that we are coming back to the previous point, but it's also a matter of efficiency now. We have to do it with a fixed budget, and I think that for us it won't be a mega change because we are in this region, but we did a very good step forward in terms of pure performance. That now we are P5 to the championship, and it's a great achievement. It's not the end of the season, but it's a good step. And I think it's a new area and a new journey for the championship. We have to fight with the same budget, everybody. That I think it's a good regulation. you have the cost cap in some other discipline in the sport, and it's working pretty well. That I'm more than pleased with this move. It's fitting with our setup and our team, and I think we are doing well, and our partners are more than pleased with the current situation.
Let's come back to the marketing point of view. So, as I said, you are in this business for more than 30 years, so you probably have seen like hundreds of...
Thank you to remind me my age.
But you look very good, so very young. So you've seen like hundreds or maybe even more different sponsors, and probably not every project was successful. So what's your golden rule to be successful in sports marketing?
I think probably the challenge is to understand exactly what are the expectations of our partner. And it's why the partnership, if we are able to extend the partnership over the years, it's the best way to be efficient because we understand perfectly their expectation. We understand their customer, what they want to achieve, what they want to reach. And then we can fine tune because we are very flexible on our side, and we can fine tune the proposal. If you take an example with ORLEN, I think that it's not just a partner, that it's the target of the team is to develop the business of the partner, and we are also a platform for the business.
Speaking about the ORLEN, because it's, in Formula One, the majority are like global brands. ORLEN was rather local brands. So were you surprised when they approached your team saying that we want to be your partner?
Yeah, but I think it's also the target of ORLEN to become a global brand. That now they are building up plants everywhere in the world. They are on something like 60 markets, I think. That, correct me if I am wrong. And the F1 is the best way to cover the world. That on the top of this, for ORLEN, for sure, the fit is quite natural because that it's a very technological product, and we are as F1 a technological platform also. This fit is quite obvious. It's why the petroleum companies are so present in F1. This is an easy challenge. But at the end of the day, the fact that ORLEN is a Polish company, but the target is to become global, and F1 is global. And we can also be a global platform for the business, and it's why we can meet the expectation of ORLEN on this point.
You say Formula One, you think innovation, because all the engines are like highly innovative. Are there any innovation in the marketing as well?
Yeah, I think for this that COVID had some good aspect. It's difficult to say, but during the COVID we are not able to have guests on track, but we were racing. It means that we had to keep the partner on, and we started to do a virtual garage tour, virtual meet and greet, virtual factory tour, and at the end of the day, we can contact and to be in touch with much more people like this. It means that it won't replace the real world, and now we are back on track. We have guests, and we have Miami was probably the biggest event of my life in terms of marketing, but we are still doing some virtual event alongside, and we can touch people all over the world like this, and this is a decent step forward. And on the same page, I think that we did the first virtual launch of the car this season, and I think it was a very nice event in terms of technology, and everybody was pleased with this kind of approach. For sure that as we said before, that the fan base is now younger and younger, and you have also to adapt your product to the profile of the fan.
Okay, thank you very much, Frederic. So we are sending from Poznań all the good emotions to you to get out of COVID soon. So thank you very much once again, Frederic Vasseur.